Tan Sri Michael Yeo, President, KSI Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific. Tan Sri Abdulaziz Hussain, Chairman of the ACDC Sarawak, Your Excellencies, and Council members of the Economic Club of Kuala Lumpur, distinguished delegates and participants to the Global Economic and Strategic Outlook Forum. On behalf of the Economic Club of Kuala Lumpur, the KSI Strategic Institute for Asia Pacific, and the World Digital Chamber, I have great pleasure in welcoming all of you this morning. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. I think you all are brave coming out, overcoming the traffic jam that this morning imposed upon the citizens of Malaysia, or especially Kuala Lumpur. And thank you very much for coming on time to get this started. Now, the topic that we are given is Global Strategic Outlook. Therefore, I am asked, while welcoming you, to say a few words of welcome and remarks. I will take this opportunity just to touch on three aspects first, without going into the subject matter of the two panels that will follow after these opening remarks. The World Economic Forum is a major economic and business event held annually in Davos, Switzerland. It is to some extent more political than economic, where world leaders, both political and business, pour their grievances as well as their thoughts and vision on strategic issues concerning the global economic and business outlook. Exactly, we are trying to do this in this particular forum, a similar exercise for Malaysia. So I just want to briefly go back to the report that was given after a survey. The World Economic Forum cautioned and said that there's going to be a precarious year. 2024 is a precarious year. A precarious means there are certain dangers associated with it. Basically, it's summed up by saying, I say in inverted commas, the global economy faces a year of subdued growth prospects, uncertainty stemming from geopolitical strife, tight financing conditions, and the disruptive impact of artificial intelligence, AI. I think there will be more of these subjects we'll discuss later. This general weakening is characteristic with a high degree of regional divergence, although the World Economic Forum talked about the global, but as you know, the planet is not homogeneous in any ways. First, in the area that we are talking about, moderate or stronger growth in China and the United States is predicted. China and the US on the one hand. Second, there is a broad consensus that Europe will master only a weak and a very weak growth. So comparatively, you look at Asia and you look at the States and then you compare Europe. Third, the outlook for Southeast Asia and East Asia and the Pacific was more positive. So they are looking at this region positively. A very high growth comparatively. We compare not the high growth of the yesteryears. Again, there is a regional bloc achieved an overall growth of 2.5. I do not want to go to the statistics. So these are the framework under which we find ourselves in, and what it is look like in Malaysia. I wish I had a crystal ball, but instead of putting a crystal ball in front of you to look at, we are going to have two panels. One is looking at the economic outlook, immediately following my brief remarks, and then the second one where I will share the corporate outlook. But just sufficient for me to just say one thing, that the Madani Budget 2024 announced in October talked about 4 to 5% growth for Malaysia. And of course the World Bank says it is about 4.3. So these days they don't come out with a specific figure and say that this is going to be our growth target or what we would achieve and so on. So it is hovering between a lower 4 to a higher 5, in between, something like that. So with that, I would like to hand over this session to the MC, Zain Mokhzani, and then we go through the process. With that, thank you very much for listening, and we look forward to having a great Outlook seminar this morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Datuk Mohamed, Chairman of CKL.